Hey YouTubers, I'm out kind of scouting locations. I'm shooting with, yes, yet another new camera. Like I said in my last video, which one? My Arca Swiss video. There was another Arca Swiss I wanted. And I said, I gotta stop this. I gotta get rid of this gas. Well, I got rid of it by getting that camera. That's how you get rid of it until the next time. Anyway, I'm out just trying to get some experience with the camera and just trying to shoot some photos. It's been a long time. So I'm in downtown Littleton. It's one of my favorite places, real close to my house. And I'm just going to take some pictures of this and that. One thing I'm looking at is Littleton's courthouse. And I'm kind of scouting it out and trying to find a good angle on it. This will be a good use of the movements on the camera, not just this camera, any view camera with movements. One of the things you run into when you're shooting architectural stuff is converging lines as you shoot up at the object. And you can fix that in post with digital and so forth, but view cameras give you a unique opportunity to fix that at the time of taking the picture. And that's because the lens projects, you hope, a very large image circle, and the film is just a small part of that image circle. And you can actually move the film around relative to that image circle and get different parts of the image on your film. Why does that help with convergence? Well, you set the camera up perfectly level, and then you can shift until the building is where you want it to be on the film, and the converging lines just don't happen. So I thought I'd play around with that, and it's kind of a nice looking building anyway, and I'm just going to keep walking around it and see if I can figure out a decent angle. This is one kind of interesting angle on the building. Even on video you can see the converging lines. I'm sorry for my shaky cam. Kind of get to put the steeple, for lack of a better word, in kind of have it be surrounded by the trees and so forth. So this isn't bad. And then here's another sort of obvious shot, and it's purely symmetrical except for the trees around. But it's kind of interesting. I like symmetry sometimes. You know, if you're being super obvious about it, it's fine. So I'm toying with those two different ones. Maybe I'll take both. I don't know. Unfortunately, with more reasonable temperatures, we have clouds. So I don't like it to be 100% sunny. That's too harsh. You can deal with it. But I like for there to be a haze. There's a lot more than a haze. There's no shadows out here at all. So it might make for kind of a boring photo, and I tend to just throw all my negatives together in the same development. So these photos may end up being just a little dull. I'll fix them after scanning in post. So you make the best with kind of what you're given. This 120mm Super Sim R seems to be the perfect focal length at all times. I've got two other lenses with me, but this one I think will do the trick for this particular shot that I'm setting up. I've got the camera perfectly level at the moment, at least as perfect as I can make it. I don't have the right gear on me today to show you me doing this, you know, in motion, but I've set the camera up so that it's shifted up, and that will bring the building into the place I need it to be without me tilting the camera up. Notice I'm still level here, but you can also see there's plenty of rise on the lens. Okay, the camera is basically set up. Took me a little while. I moved it around a few times just to make sure I didn't have any weird tangents in the picture, at least those that I noticed. All I got to do is measure the light. I'm going to use incident reading, put a film holder in there, and fire off the shot. So I have decided to go ahead and shoot from this other angle, and this requires some pretty crazy rise on the front standard of this camera. because I'm shooting from pretty low down. The building's on a hill. And believe it or not, the coverage of the lens has got my back. Okay, so that shot was at f/22 for 1/8 of a second. The prior shot, the light was a little better, so it was at a 15th of a second, still f/22. I think I'm right at the diffraction limit of the lens, I'm not sure. I stopped down hoping to get some of this tree, the foreground tree, in focus. I probably could have used some swing, but I think it would have caused me some weird other out of focus areas that I didn't really want to go for. So that's the exposure for this. The film I'm shooting, I'm still on the Arista EDU 400. I rated at 200, so my meter was set for 200, and I just develop it normally. So like I said, I've just been shooting it at 200, and I'm just throwing it, all of the stuff in the same developer, same time, all that good stuff, regardless of how contrasty it was or how dull it is. Hopefully my results still come out okay. Alongside the Santa Fe Railroad, I guess, on a multi-purpose trail that I don't think used to be here. I think this is pretty new. So I'm just kind of checking out what there is available on this trail. It's right next to the courthouse. I just walked around the corner from it. You know, even on a really pleasant day like today, where I think it's in the low 70s, it's cloudy. Getting out and shooting large format outdoors makes me sweaty. You're getting in under that focusing cloth, making adjustments, getting out from under it, getting stuff, forgetting stuff, getting back under, etc., etc. So I'm really happy that the weather is like it is today, allowing me to get out. Trade-off is the light's really dull, whatever. This is the kind of scene that catches my eye sometimes. I don't know how you guys feel. It may not look like much, and it may not come across in video, but there's a little kind of, I guess it's basically a little creek that's dry, and it's kind of running back off there, and it's in slight shadow. If the sun was better today, it might make a nice little S shape, and the video is zoomed in a little more than what I'm seeing, but it's kind of a nice little arrangement of elements. I'm just not sure it'll work on such a dull day, and I'm not sure it'll work with the little S-curve of the creek not being very obvious. This is definitely mosquito territory. I'm afraid I'm getting all Zika'd up. It's really amazing what you find if you just look around where you live a little bit. I did not know this was back here. And this is literally around the corner from the courthouse. I felt like I knew every trail, every creek, etc. in this area, and I have never seen this. Kind of a weird sluice thing here. I don't know exactly what that is. There's a creek running behind me. There's some relatively wild area here. Looks like a lot of good photographic opportunities, at least if the sunlight was a little better. I need some dappling to make this work. Well, there's a lot to explore in that area, but the light is just too dull. I think I'm gonna have to throw in the towel. Hope for better sun tomorrow. Same day, completely different weather. It's a few hours later. I was out around noon before, and now it's about 4:15, and it's mostly cloudy, but sun's peeking through pretty nicely, but not full on. Kind of the way I like it, although the light will vary a bit. And I'm down in the creek near my house in Cherry Knolls Park. which has a lot of open space. And I've walked this trail next to this creek a million times, and even though it's old news to me, I can always find something new to shoot. So I'm set up down here to shoot this very tiny little waterfall slash rapids. Hopefully the composition will work out for me, and I'm gonna go ahead and set it up. Okay, I've set the shot up with some rear rise, which will basically make the camera's position lower with respect to the subject. It's kind of the opposite of what I was doing earlier today. So I want to make my point of view a little lower. So I'm raising the rear, which makes the front fall, essentially. I also have a little bit of back rear tilt on the camera. I don't know if you can see it. It's very, very, very minor. But I'm using that to bring these roots into focus along with the background. I could use front forward tilt, but in this case I used rear back tilt. That kind of tends to accentuate the angle, and that's what I'm going for here. I kind of want to get these roots as part of the subject as things bend towards the back. So that's what I'm up to. Okay, I just worked out an exposure of 1/4 of a second at f/32. That's probably getting into diffraction territory. I don't know. I actually haven't looked at the measurements for this lens. That's okay. The 1/4 of the second is what I was pushing towards because I want to get a little bit of motion blur in the water. I don't have a neutral density filter or anything, so I'm just going to have to use as slow a shutter speed as possible without too slow or without too small of an aperture. It gets sunny, it also gets hot. Funny how that works. Sweating like a pig. That's from hiking around here in the park, carrying the camera and so forth. I've been looking around. I really just want to get another frame shot, and I thought, well, I haven't shot my 90mm. I've had this lens for a while, so I wanted to really shoot it. And I'm shooting what's in back of me. Not necessarily the greatest composition in the world, but I do want to get a feel for how this lens shoots. I mainly shoot my 120, like 90% of the time, I'd say. So anyway, that's what I'm up to. The camera is set up with front rise to bring more of the treetops into the photo, and just a little bit of front tilt, and that gets the foreground in focus along with the background.